Bitcoin ecosystem from 1 year ago. So not that long ago, basically, Bitcoin usage consisted mostly of a store of value use case. And we had Lightning looking to help Bitcoin become more of a medium of exchange with faster and cheap transactions. Stacks looking to bring some more programmability for Web3 use cases. But these were the early days and the usage was moderate. The block space demand was still not exploding as we see today. And this is the Bitcoin space as we all experience it now, with basically a nascent Web3 demand. So ordinals and BRC20 have basically introduced tokenized culture, tokenized community use cases on Bitcoin, and we've seen huge demand for that. And Stacks is no longer the only player on the layer 2 space. I think word has gotten out that there was such a demand for more programmable use cases on Bitcoin and more Web3 use cases that many builders have positioned themselves to also build on the L2 space. So we envisage a Bitcoin ecosystem that keeps becoming more vibrant and keeps absorbing basically the best tech that was developed on other blockchains. So there's still 1 trillion of market cap for basically Web3 and smart contract and fast payment use cases on other blockchains. We think all that value can accrue back to Bitcoin with that technological innovation. And it's up for builders to make that happen. So our goal with Xverse is to keep supporting the best possible user experience on Bitcoin and Bitcoin layer 2s. And that means two things. That means keeping at the forefront of what Bitcoin as a layer 1 has to offer, because it still has a lot of interesting use cases with the UTXO model, with specifics of the Bitcoin chain that Xverse is always looking to support, and all the innovation that the ordinal space has pioneered is always supported on Xverse. So we're the wallet of choice to store your ordinals, your rare sats if you're collecting them. We're looking to support more use cases like runes that are nascent, but we also support basically stacks and in the future other layer 2s on top of Bitcoin that bring tokens, NFTs based on smart contracts, and stacking, potentially staking for other layer 2s in the future. So we basically combine all these use cases in a smooth user experience and in a single wallet where your account is basically enabling you to navigate all these chains. So on Bitcoin purely, we offer advanced features such as the ability to replace by fee, speed up your transactions. We have a Bitcoin transaction parsing and clear signing so that you can basically assess the exact effect of a partially signed Bitcoin transaction. So this is especially useful for transactions on marketplaces and ordinals use cases or Bitcoin DeFi. If you've used apps like Magic Eden and Liquidium, Xverse excels at basically interpreting the meaning of the transactions you're signing. We also invest heavily on security, and so you can use Xverse in conjunction with hardware wallets like Ledger. So the part that we obviously would like to explore together with you today, and that we're excited to present to you, is our wallet API, Sats Connect, which basically enables any app to interact with Bitcoin and layer 2 wallets, and to connect to wallets, to request addresses, to request the signature of transactions of all sorts on Bitcoin and layer 2s. So this is what Eduard is going to present to you in more details. And this is a library that is widely used and that is powering the growth of the Bitcoin ecosystem as we witness it today. So if you've used famous apps like Alex on Stacks, Magic Eden on Bitcoin, Liquidium, you'll realize that a lot of the Bitcoin Web3 ecosystem as it exists today is powered by Sats Connect. And basically what we'll be offering for the hackathon in the next days is early access to the next chapter of Sats Connect, which will make it possible to interact with both Bitcoin and Stacks from a single wallet API. And that's basically the first step of implementing that vision that we have, that there should be a single library, a single wallet API to rule the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. So we're going to give you early access to that Sats Connect version that supports Bitcoin and Stacks in a single library, because we think the next chapter of Bitcoin Web3 is to have apps that are more integrated across Bitcoin and a layer 2, apps that can enable users to peg in assets from Bitcoin to a layer 2, trade on a layer 2, peg back out. We need more such apps to basically help Bitcoin scale and reach its full potential. And so that's what we'd like to provide the builders in that room today. So we'll be showing you the Sats Connect library and how you can interact with Bitcoin and Stacks, and providing you an early release candidate of the Xverse extension that works with that new version of Sats Connect. And I'll hand it over to Edward to walk you through all of that.
Sure. Thanks, Baptiste, for the intro. I guess I'll just start by sharing my screen. Sure. All right. Great. So on screen right now is the documentation for the Sats Connect library. And I guess before getting into the documentation, just maybe provide a bit of a background story as to how Sats Connect came to be and why builders would be interested in using Sats Connect. So behind the scenes, Sats Connect actually uses the WebBTC standard, and what that enables is all wallets that adhere to this standard, like Xverse or Leather, can directly interact with the Sats Connect library. And what that means is that with a single library, builders can target or can interact with a whole a series of wallets, and without having to worry about the standard. And so the WebBTC standard, what that helps is in how these various wallets, how they're loaded into the browser, and how they how they can share like the global namespace without stepping over each other's toes. And so while the Sats Connect library, what it enables you builders to do is to, with a single familiar interface, to interact with all of these wallets. And maybe we can just go quickly through the documentation to see some of Sats Connect's capabilities. So initially, Sats Connect is, like Baptiste mentioned, available on NPM. You can just pretty easily install it. And Sats Connect will connect with the different, what are called providers. So wallets will inject providers into the dApp, into the DOM of the application, and Sats Connect will detect that and will offer that information to developers. And so developers can then choose which of the wallets they want to connect to, and what methods are available from each of those wallets. So, like I mentioned, behind the scenes, Sats Connect uses the WebBTC standard, and as part of that standard, wallets can signal to Sats Connect or to the dApps what their capabilities are. Capabilities simply what methods they support. So whether dApps can pull address information, whether they can make certain types of transactions, whether they can deploy contracts, for example, in the case of stacks or other L2s. So upon connecting to the different wallets, the dApps can understand what the capabilities of those wallets are and then offer those capabilities to users. And this is just a bit of the more technical information as to how Sats Connect works and what the available methods are, error codes, so on and so forth. They're all in here in the docs. Perhaps the best way to get started is to just request user addresses. That's how many dApps can start interacting with the wallets. And just to get some information from the users, maybe sign them into an application, or yeah, just be aware of what address the user will be interacting with the dApp with. So as I mentioned, the Sats Connect is built on top of this WebBTC standard, and the WebBTC standard caters for some standard request methods that dApps, or in this case Sats Connect, can send to the wallets, and wallets will respond with the payload that the dApps are expecting. And the kind of base layer, or the central part of the WebBTC standard is supporting methods for Bitcoin. So operations like signing messages or signing a PSBT or sending Bitcoin transactions, all of these are possible through Sats Connect. And then on top of that, other for example, layer 2 capabilities, such as those provided by stacks, are also supported by Sats Connect. So in addition to sending some messages to perform some actions related to Bitcoin, Sats Connect also supports actions related to L2s, such as stacks. So also on stacks, you can sign messages, transfer STX, sign transactions, or call contracts. And all of these are now available with Sats Connect version 2. And as Baptiste mentioned, but I'll kind of emphasize that this is so Sats Connect version 2 is already available. And for the builders here, we'll be making available a release candidate of the Xverse wallet, which is already compatible and supports all of these methods. And maybe, yeah, there are some interesting links down here, which maybe I'll cover a bit later. But maybe for now, what I'd like to do is, yeah, maybe just briefly show, for those of you interested in diving a bit deeper into the standard that powers Sats Connect, you may want to check out the standard here. We'll link to all of this in the slides or in the documentation. And now, maybe I can just give a quick preview of how this would work. So, yeah, maybe I'll just explain what's going on here. So this is a small kind of technical application that we put together to kind of test the different capabilities of the wallet. So maybe I'll actually just disconnect first. So when builders use Sats Connect to integrate with wallets, the first part is actually connecting with the wallet. And so it's as simple as presenting a button in the UI, which actually fetches wallet information. And that's actually pretty simple. It looks a little like, sorry, my Zoom controls are in the way. So yeah, it looks a little like this. So the first step would be to get the address of the wallet that's connected with SatsConnects. And this is an import that's directly available on SatsConnect. And like I mentioned, SatsConnect takes care of, for wallets that adhere to the standard like Xverse or Leather, it takes care of searching for the providers on the DOM, and then calling those providers from the wallets to get information out of them. And we can request, in this case, we're just connecting with the wallet and requesting several addresses for ordinals, payments, and stacks. And so let's just quickly connect with the wallet. This is a demo wallet, so no crazy secrets being shared here or anything like that. So let's just unlock the wallet and connect with it. For Xverse, we just get a connection confirmation screen. And once connected, SatsConnect can then pull down all the information from the wallet. And it detects that for Xverse, and again, this is the release candidate, which we will be making available. It detects all the methods available on the wallet. And this application is made to understand that the wallet provides these methods and just kind of provide some simple UI that allows to test these methods. So here we have some for Bitcoin at the very top. We can get some wallet info. And again, this is mostly for developers. In the case of, for example, request info, we'll get here an object with some information. These are the methods that I was talking about a bit earlier. So when wallets adhere to the WebBTC standard, SatsConnect can pull down a list of their capabilities, which in the case of Xverse, for the release candidate that we will be making available, are all of these methods which are standardized. So the advantage of using SatsConnect is that any standards compliant wallet is automatically compatible with SatsConnect. So with a single library, builders can target all the wallets that adhere to the WebBTC standard. And yeah, so here we just have a few operations, and maybe I can just share a bit of code to sorry, I have my Zoom controls in the way. Let's move them here for now. All right. So for this kind of demo app that we have set up, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate support for both Bitcoin and stacks related calls. So for Bitcoin, for example, which one do I have here? Send Bitcoin. So I'm not actually going to go through this whole thing, which is only available on testnet. But maybe we want to sign a message, for example. And so here, this button over here, sign message RPC, it uses SatsConnect to send a message to the wallet through the WebBTC standard, and it requests the wallet to please sign this message, hello world, which we see here on screen. And upon signing this message, the wallet replies to the caller, to SatsConnect in this case, which then through a promise makes that available to the application. And so maybe in code, what that looks like is kind of exemplified over here. So builders can simply call the request method, which is an export from the SatsConnect package. And this request method, which we have fully documented in our docs page over here with all of these methods. So you can see what the arguments for the request and what to expect in the response. It's all here in the documentation. But even if you don't dive deep into the docs, all of these are typed. So as soon as you start here, you can see a list of all available methods, and the payloads are typed as well. So it should be fairly easy to make requests and interact with the responses. And it's fairly easy. You just make a request, specify the method or the action that you require that you are requesting of the wallet, pass in the necessary payload, await the promise, check for the status, and act accordingly. So it's fairly easy. So we have support for actually for all the Bitcoin methods and for Stacks methods as well. For example, we can sign some transaction for a contract call, and the wallet will pick up on that and display that to the user. And if in this case there's an error because I closed the wallet screen without actually submitting that, without confirming that, so the application will inform the dApp that operation wasn't completed by means of an error. And yeah, whether it's Bitcoin methods or other L2s like Stacks, the API is the same. Make a request, await the promise, check for success, or otherwise handle the error. So it's fairly simple. And what else did I want to cover? I think that's it for now. Yeah, just to stress again, single library to target all standards compliant wallets. And right now, we'll be making an RC version of Xverse available, which supports all these standards. The Leather wallet is also in the process of adopting these standards, and hopefully soon others will too. And although this is more of a kind of technical application, which we will also be making available, maybe just to kind of finish off this technical section, show a bit more what a more polished app could look like, what possibly we would like to see you guys build, or any of us can build. Something a little like this. So this would be an application that can connect to the wallet, sure, connect, and then through Sats Connect, pull down all the wallet information. And in this case, we just have the sending capabilities for Stacks and Bitcoin. But imagination is the limit. So we can basically do whatever we want with Sats Connect and offer any capabilities that we want for our dApps. And I think that's it as far as the technical part goes. I don't know, Baptiste, if we wanted to cover anything else, or that's it.
I think that was great. I already see a few questions. Maybe we can answer those.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks both for Baptiste and Eduard. Baptiste, you just kind of answered my question. I was going to ask if there was going to be any sharing of the documentation or the slide material that you guys went through that I can share with the participants after this workshop. So you guys can either share that stuff here in the chat for everyone, or you can email that to me and I'll make sure everybody gets it later today. But thanks for the walkthrough. Thanks for the demo. Nicely done, Eduard. Live demos are always a little bit, you never know how they're going to perform. That was great. If anybody, so we're going to turn it over to the participants. We're right around the halfway mark of this workshop. So if you have any questions, if you want to just raise your hand, you can go ahead and do that and we can get our questions asked and answered. I'm going to go into the chat and I see that there is one here that I'll read out loud to you, Eduard and Baptiste. Does Xverse allow for constructing PSBTs or for constructing transactions with custom data like op return?
Yes. So actually the link that I've sent in the chat focuses specifically on that aspect. So you're going to need two things to do that. You're going to need to create partially signed Bitcoin transactions. So we added a little guide here as an example. There are libraries that can help you do that. And so like as part of these inputs and outputs that you'll be manipulating, you can specify op return data in your outputs witness scripts. So basically, you will be creating PSBTs as you see fit, potentially adding op return data if you need it. So there are many use cases for that. We are seeing Bitcoin layer 2s that use the op return data, for instance, for a peg-in from Bitcoin to a layer 2 using the op return data to specify the recipient address on the other side, that is to receive the funds on the layer 2. So that can be a use case. Runes that are coming up soon on Bitcoin are built around op return, so you can manipulate this by creating PSBTs, and you can then request the signature of these PSBTs from your users. So we have two methods. We have a JSON RPC one for a single PSBT, where you can basically pass the base 64 encoded PSBT after creating it, as we just saw, and requests the signature of every single input with the address that you need from Xverse. So you can either use the payment address or the ordinal address, depending on your use case. You can decide to broadcast these transactions if they need to be broadcasted by the wallet directly, or if you are broadcasting them yourselves, because for instance, marketplaces like Magic Eden will aggregate several signatures from different parties and then broadcast the final transaction. You can set the broadcast flag to false. We also make it possible to sign a batch of PSBTs if that's what you need. So in that case, the user will be prompted to review a series of PSBTs in their wallet and sign each of them. And that review screen looks something like it. We mentioned it in the presentation. So this would be a very basic example, but for more complex examples where you have your users maybe transfer ordinals, rare sats, or receive such assets, the Xverse transaction screen is actually going to parse that info and reflect the assets that are being transferred in and out of the payment or ordinal address. So you should have the tools that you require for that use case.
Very helpful, thanks. I see we have another question from Sully. Can you guys talk a little bit about the advantages of Sats Connect over the Stacks Connect API?
Sure. So for that one, it's a matter of standards compliance, right? So the advantage of using Sats Connect is that any standards compliant wallet is like you automatically have access to the API of any standards compliant wallet. Sats Connect is a specific API that may or may not work with all wallets. And I guess one of the positive kind of signs is that some of the engineers that were working on Stacks Connect, they're now part of the standards of the WebBTC standards. So what that means is that in the future, many more wallets will support the WebBTC standard upon which Sats Connect operates. And so by using Sats Connect, you automatically have access to a whole range of wallets instead of only those that specifically implement the Stacks Connect API.
And thanks, Eduard. And then Baptiste, is this documentation related to? Oh, these are the slides. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
So the last slide has basically all the links you need. So the link to the documentation that Edward presented, as well as the links to the repos, because as we mentioned, we are giving you access to essentially SaaS Connect v2 that also includes stacks. And in order to use that, you'll need a release candidate of Xverse. So we've also linked the version of the Xverse extension that you can use in conjunction with SaaS Connect v2. So that's all on slide 12. Let me just point to that slide directly. You should have all the resources you need here. You can also reach out to us. We have a developer forum on Discord. So we'll be very happy to support you in the next days. If you have any questions on there, feel free to reach out. You can also find the links to the boilerplate that Edu walked you through, as well as a demo app.
Very cool. Okay. That is in the resources one as well. Okay, so that's on slide 12 for everyone who wants to get the link to the slides. All the resources are on slide 12. I'm also going to share that with everybody post workshop. So that clears up the chat. Any other questions from anyone in the group here while we still have Eduard and Baptiste? Yeah, Sully, thanks for raising your hand. The floor is open. Go for it.
Yeah, so I want to ask, this was outside of the scope of what was reviewed here, but more so with prices as far as tokens, right? Let's say with Xverse, you guys pulled back the token balances, or where are you getting that from, an Oracle, or using a different API to get prices for tokens?
Yes, so we are actually using different sources for market data. So we use CoinGecko to fetch prices for Bitcoin stacks, BRC20 tokens, SIP10 tokens. We also use specific APIs to fetch floor prices for ordinals in the wallet. So there's a different set of APIs that we use to provide market data.
Okay, and is that true for the images for the tokens as well?
Yes, the metadata for the ordinals, for instance, is something we fetch from dedicated APIs. So you have several on the market. One of them is called Simple Hash and serves the API landscape. You have APIs from Gamma for Stacks NFTs to fetch these assets. And you have CoinGecko's API for more, token related stuff and market prices.
Oh, sweet. You said Single Hash was one of those APIs?
Simple Hash.
Simple Hash. Okay.
I think I'll send the link in the chat.
Okay.
Thanks for those questions, Sully. Anyone else? Let's see, we have an announcement in the chat about, if you haven't gotten tired of me with this message yet, to please join the Stack server. Add your Discord handle here in the chat, and Rick will make sure that you get added to the server so we can keep conversations, questions, engagements going outside of the workshops. And then thanks for the link there, Baptiste, for the Simple Hash. I'm also going to take note of that so I can share it with everyone in the resources afterwards. Any other questions? The floor is still open. Any other questions or comments or anything else that the group here wants to open up a little bit more on? Going once, going twice. All right, well, Baptiste and Eduard, thanks for the time. Thanks for the overview. Thanks for the responses to the questions. For the group here and for everyone who watches this recording later on, Ken, who's the CEO of Xverse, is going to be one of the judges. So maybe there's some things that were shared here today that will definitely pay off in a couple of weeks when everybody finalizes their projects and submits those for final judge evaluations. And we can go ahead and end it there. And this is our last workshop for the day. So next steps from here is I will be sending out a recap email and post it on Discord as well as DevPost. And it's going to have a recap of everything that we've done today, which is going to include this workshop. It's going to include Kenny's workshop. It's going to include our kickoff program overview at the start of the day. All that will be wrapped up and all that will be in your inboxes. If anybody needs anything at all, feel free to get in touch with me. And I'll see you all in the Discord. Thanks again, Eduard. Thanks again, Baptiste. It was nice to meet you guys both, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone. Happy building, and don't hesitate to reach out on Discord if we can be of any help.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.